Silver Dave here. It's been a wild week. We saw a once in a maybe a once in a decade event. We saw the big squeeze happen. It's interesting. It's really interesting. There was a short squeeze on a few stocks such as Gamestop. I think it's a these AMX or AMC, American Cinemas, and I think Nokia and BlackBerry. It's a very interesting phenomenon, and it's all done because through Wall Street bets and people reading Wall Street bet posts, and then as individuals acting actually as a mob and making chaos, basically making the markets unpredictable, right? It goes against every single type of model you could develop for a market. It's a black swan event. How does this affect gold and silver? Well, let's find out. Now, you have to get a little bit of a context of why there was a short squeeze. All of these shares were somewhat over shorted to different degrees, and people on Wall Street bets, they're different people with different backgrounds, and quite a few of them were saying, look, something's off about these companies, like these shorts, right? Because these companies, they're somewhat well capitalized, and their valuation being so low is completely abnormal. And the shorts are so extensive that if anybody just bought the shares and went the other way, you could you could squeeze the shorts, forcing the companies to buy those shares back and at a much higher level and to cover themselves. And this will further push the valuation of the shares even further, and pushing like the whole basically short chain up to the very top before it completely busts and then drops back down. But so what is the theoretical level? Well, we don't know. It's very hard. I don't know. I don't know what is the top of the chain. I'm not going to speculate on what is the top of the chain. I did buy some GameStop. I have 8 shares of GameStop. I think I bought on the average price of $268. And I'm like, I'm throwing my money into the ring because it's no longer just a basically people investing or trying to make money. It's really about actually buying and holding and making and showing these hedge funds that you should not be allowed to short to such extent. This is completely insane. So they're being squeezed, and it's turned into sort of a movement, and not just a investment strategy. Now, what is this thing's impact on everything else? And if you are like me, you stack gold and silver, physical gold and silver, you're a stacker, you're concerned, you're like, okay, you don't really pay too much attention to the daily price changes of silver. You go and you buy silver like a bit here, a bit there. But if actually this event is a event that has affected the whole market, and one of the things we saw over the past few days is that it has flooded into other markets, and there is some indicators that there is a upward push for its silver, and potentially also a squeeze effect on silver. There's also a overall market effect that people are scared that some of these brokers and clearinghouses might actually be insolvable because they are allowing basically their clients to take extremely risky gambles on the stock market. So the hedge funds are taking extremely risky gambles and it's not going their way. And these clearinghouses have let them do these gambles, and they realize that they're being handed a terrible hand. So they're like, okay, now you need to make coverage. And what we're seeing is people are selling off a lot of the I would say the healthy stocks, in a very, very aggressive manner to meet, I guess, margin requirements. We can see it all across the market. I can see that, for example, the S&P 500, it's breaking through historical levels of volatility. If I look here, yesterday was, we crashed through all predicted ranges. Even though I can say that the overall direction of the S&P 500, since I would say the start of this week, even before Friday, since the start of the week, it's starting to turn a downtrend. Now, I don't know if this will transform into a long-term downtrend because we are not there yet. If the volatility barriers break through the long-term volatility barriers and it keeps going downwards, yeah, then we might see a correction. I don't know if it will be a strong correction or a short correction for the overall stock market, but I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know I'm not a financial advisor. I made some AI to try and like predict long-term movements of stocks. But what I do see out of the algorithm is that it's saying that there's just a ton of volatility, and you should be careful in this situation. This is actually a very dangerous situation. Overall, it's very hard to say what's going to happen, and there's not a lot of certainty. But something interesting happened on silver, and I think you're interested in this, is we had a breakout. And it's actually predicting that, silver has become quite volatile all over the last few days. And I do think that in the beginning of the short squeeze, the start of the short squeeze, people were taking out positions to make some margin calls, and they were taking out probably silver, which has been gaining in value since I would say last year. Since October last year, silver has been an upward trend. So if any of the hedge funds had positions in silver, they probably would have liquidated those to make coverage. For margin calls, I've seen something similar in gold. That's probably what explained the dip in gold, was that they liquidated their metals positions, and they start covering, and then they start liquidating. Now they're liquidating their stock positions, and yeah, but we also see there's a lot of interest on Wall Street Bets in silver. I've seen quite a few posts on the forum, so it's something you should pay attention to maybe if you're interested in the direction maybe of silver, and who will be the market in the silver market's future, the futures of the silver market. And it can be quite wild and unpredictable because of the nature of Wall Street Bets and the fact that it's almost pure chaos on there. Yeah, I mean, it's an open forum, so what do you expect? It is pure chaos. But if I look at the daily charts and I look at the hourly charts, the 4-hourly charts, I see that silver does have a strong upward momentum. I do have a theory that, if the short squeeze goes on for quite a while, there could be some real damages to the hedge funds. They've already lost money, but they're not insolvent. If the hedge funds become insolvent, their clearinghouse, their assets, and they have to liquidate, and their clearinghouses have to basically write off whatever the hedge fund owes them, etc., and has to deleverage themselves and have to pay out of pocket to the clearinghouses. That could lead to a very painful situation, and actually the government might step in and actually bail them out. That would be horrible too, because they made outsized bets. They made really dumb outsized bets, and they went on to tell everybody, they made really crazy outsized bets, and then people looked into it and they were like, oh, you made really crazy outsized bets with other people's money that have infinite upward risk. Thank you very much. You're gonna pay. They did this before 2008. They did this for 6 years before 2000. No, even longer. They did it for like almost 10 years before 2008. It was MBSs, and then all the swaps that were on MBSs, and the synthetic, what they call synthetic CDOs, synthetic collateralized debt obligations, which were packaged and sausage products. Yeah, they did it with a lot of products for a long time. And now, because MBSs are a lot more scrutinized, I guess they're doing with short leveragings and also basically other synthetic products maybe they're selling to each other that we don't know about, because not all products need to be disclosed to the public, and as long as they are not meant to be sold to the public, that's why they sell it to accredited investors and so on. I think that silver, there will be some interesting price movements as a, what do you call it, as the euphoria floods out of GameStop, and the overall market impact will impact the price of silver and also the price of gold. I do think that gold has a potential of moving upwards next week. I don't know how much. There's two scenarios for gold, right? Depending on how much gold hedge funds are holding right now, we could see that gold goes down because they have to cover their shorts and they're losing their shorts and they're losing so much money on their shorts that it's a lot of money that they would have to pay up. And it's not a question of what's the value that they have to pay up. It's more a liquidity question, right? It's more that if they have a huge amounts of outstanding short interest, and the interest is humongous on the shorts, then they could potentially go bankrupt before some of them, not all of them, but some of them could have cash flow problems and potentially have to liquidate more of their positions in order to meet margin requirements, or they lose their position and then they might actually have to liquidate the whole fund. So they've dug down their heels, and we might be looking at something really strange over the coming few days, something we've never seen before. So we know that there will be a black swan event. We don't know what the black swan event will look like. And it's a very publicized black swan event. I do think that in the long term, there's a lot of upward pressure for gold because of the total amount of, money printing, the increase in money supply, the extremely favorable interest rates. If you look at how the interest rate yield curve is it's like the trend line is positive, which typically happens in a bull market for all assets, but more specifically, it also happens for gold and silver, for gold more specifically, and especially with large volume and with large volume of increase in volume of cash or monetary supply, you tend to have like upward pressure. It's not that you will go into a bull market. That's wrong. It's more like you have upward pressure for gold. It tends to float slowly upwards in the very long term because there's just so much money floating around, and eventually some of it ends up in gold. I personally have seen some gold shortages at my local dealers. I know that I'm not in the United States, so I do shop around. I've looked at a few dealers. They do have gold. It's not that they don't have any gold. It's just that the most popular types of gold, that is gold investment coins, there's a shortage of those. And I can still get bars, but I can't get like small quantity bars. I can only get large, like 100 gram, 200 gram bars. There's no like 1 ounce. All of these small investment coins, they're almost out of stock. All of the sales are gone. I do think that they are seeing a slight shortage from gold and silver from retail investors or retail stackers. Basically, stackers are the ultimate retail customer because we actually go out and buy the physical material. We buy the physical silver and the physical gold. We don't trade it very often, and it's just taken away from the market. That's what we do. We take it to ourselves, and then we dig a hole, we put it into a metal box and drop it down the hole. that's what stackers we do. I mean, and then we feel happy about it. We're like, yay. It brings us joy. But this stuff here, like the price, the futures contract, and the squeezing and all this stuff, it's not really. If you're a stacker, you do want to hear about it and you're interested in somewhat the direction, but when you're stacking for very long term. Usually, typically, most stackers, they stack for years. They stack for 20, 30 years. So they are in the very long, I think they call them diamond hands. So yeah, stackers are ultimate diamond hands because they take physical delivery and they just dig a hole and store it there, and they don't look at the price and they just sit on it. You can't get more diamond hands than that. That's a very different way of, I guess, of preservation of wealth, because ultimately silver, gold, platinum, these are all physical money. Like platinum is money. It's a palladium too. It's money. They are different types of money. Wow, palladium. Whoa, I didn't suspect that. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll look into palladium, but after markets, palladium prices crashed. But platinum didn't crash. That's interesting that platinum didn't crash the same level as palladium. Platinum typically moves in tandem with palladium because they're both used in the same types of oil and synthesis reactions, but platinum didn't really move that much. Well, I've been telling people that platinum, it's been undervalued for a lot. If you look at the percentage gain for this chart, it's been moving up since I've bought platinum all through this period. I've added platinum in the beginning of the year. Do I think platinum has a potential, like a strong potential future? Yes, I do think platinum has a strong potential future because platinum it's just so cheap compared to everything else out there. And there really isn't very much platinum. I've been looking at investment platinum too. Platinum has less than 3% of total reserve as investment platinum. That means pretty much that pure platinum as a store of platinum, right? There's less than I guess 3% of 260,000 ounces is what? I'm doing the math in my head. It's around at $1,000. That's around $9 million. That's around, yeah, that's closer to $10 million. $10 million. I'm gonna do some quick math. Wait, I have the calculator here. Yep. Calculator. And calculator, it says 26,000 times 0.0.03 times, that's not a lot, 7,800 a year in pure investment platinum. We're going to times 1,074. We are looking at, that can't be right, $8 million of total platinum of production is produced as coins. Could be. I mean, when I was looking at mint numbers, most mint around, maybe, how many do they mint? They mint 3,000 platinum coins. It's not a big market. Yeah, I think last year for the lunar series, there's let's see, let me just check. Lunar series platinum ox numbers. Bullion mintages, Perth mint, emu mintages, lunar, kangaroo, lunar, silver, gold, Australian platinum, bullion coin series. Let's see, lunar, gold, silver. Okay. Let's see how many. The Australian platypus, 1 ounce. Max mintage, 30,000. Okay. Unlimited. So we don't know how many. Declared, 5,000, 3,000, 6,000, 1,600, 2,000. I guess that what is it? Divided by 1,074. We are looking at 7,800. I guess if like the Perth mint produces maybe like 2 to 3,000 a year. The who else produces platinum coins? The Austrian Philharmonic produces 2 to 3,000 a year, and the U.S. Mint produces 2 to 3,000 a year. It's very possible that we're under 10,000 ounces of investment coin platinum being produced. That said, but then you also have bars. I haven't seen so many bars. Bars, I've seen like 1 kilo bars that you can order from banks that are basically they're like LNBA assayed bars. You can order them from your bank and he gives you an LNBA assayed bar. But for coins and investment coins, I guess there's not many. I guess there really isn't that much. We probably maybe we have more than we have less than 30,000 ounces a year on average for the world in terms of investment platinum. I could be wrong. This is just me guessing. I don't know if there's an exact number, but if you know, leave it in the comments. So yeah, interesting week. Looking forward to next week. It'll be very interesting to see how silver moves next week, because what I'm seeing here is we could get we're at the start of a pretty strong breakout, and it would be very interesting if silver does do a major like upside breakout, and if we can break through what happened here, we get a repeat of that. That would be very interesting. That would be quite amazing. But it would be, yeah, we live in crazy times. I mean, think about it. You know, there was a storming of the Capitol here. Then there was inauguration. Then there's GameStop takes down Wall Street. I mean, 2021 has 2020 beat already, and we're not even past month 1. You know, this is storming of the Capitol was in early January. Then inauguration. Then we have GameStop takes down inauguration, but Lady Gaga dressed in some sort of Hunger Game costume and singing some songs. And then we have GameStop takes down Wall Street. What a crazy year. It's not even month 1. This is just insane. It's an insane year. Anyways, we know that silver's real money. Just I stack it, I buy it. I buy a ton of physical silver. I like silver. But here's what I say every single time, keep stacking good health. And if you like the video, click the like button and subscribe for content. I do post frequently, but I'm quite busy these days trying to keep up with news and work. Thank you very much for watching. Click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell notification button. Thank you. Dave out.